Hey, what's up, guys? It's Dominic Costa here, and today what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down an audition I did. So I'm going to do from Slate the Screen is what I believe they would call it, which is something I've seen actors doing before. This is from 3 or 4 years ago. It's for an a student thesis film I did for uh, yeah. So student thesis film. I went in. I auditioned. At the time, I hanged on to SAG eligibility for a long time. Actually, no, I was SAG eligible, and then I became a couple years later SAG must join, and I really hung on to that as long as I could, so that excuse me, so that I could still do projects like this, you know, before I join, and then I become limited, and then you know you, it becomes hard to get work because you're always auditioning. So yeah, just to give you a little explanation on that because for anybody out there who wants to be SAG or is in the process, anything I could do for other actors out there and people who aren't actors, you're probably not going to understand. But for other actors and creators out there, you know, you pace yourself becoming SAG. It's a great thing. But when you become eligible, it's good to kind of hold on to that and then knowing when you got to pull the trigger, especially like when you're auditioning a lot. Like before this whole COVID thing, I'd be up to New York several times a week auditioning for SAG projects. So it's like it's good to get it out the way. But before the auditions became heavy, it was good to get as many student films done as I could and non-union projects done as I could while I was still on the cusp. Because one, you just want to have fun and you want to get experience, right? So get a little bit of that out the way. Now we'll go into the audition process was as fun, and for people who aren't actors, it's great for you to kind of see how this stuff works. So we're gonna hit play. They started with like it was a different kind of slate, which makes sense because it's yeah, let me get this out the way. It's bothering me. Yeah. It makes kind of sense because it's a student film, so they're newer, so they do things a little bit differently. So here I remember, oh well, usually you just say slate your name and your height. Here they were kind of spelling it out for me and stuff. So let's just hit play. So it was like it was cool though because I worked on this film called Morgellons, and I most auditions. So as you know, like you go into a room, the first audition, there'll probably be a reader and the casting director. And then at the callback, it might still be the same thing. There might just be the casting director and the reader. Maybe the director's there. It depends on how big the role is. Most of the time, if it's a small role, like an under five, or even if it's like 10 lines, if it's over five, you know, director doesn't really need to be there. They'll just watch the tape. Um, and the bigger auditions, obviously, there might be like at the callback or there might be more people in a room. But with the student films, especially when you do these thesis film auditions, it's almost like a theater performance in a sense. Of course, you don't have to project like that, but there was literally like every one of these auditions, though, for these student projects, thesis films, master thesis, whatever, there'll be like 30 people in there. So it's awesome because it's so fun. I don't know why sometimes actors hate auditions. I love them. It's a rush, and you never know how you're going to be thrown, which is great because it gives you a chance to adapt. I like that stuff. It's improvisational. I like when I just turn my mind off and I go. So this was a good audition for me. So here we go. We'll start off. I'm going to hit play.
Costa.
So we got through that.
You're fighting with Maggie. She's acting crazy.
Okay. So here, I'm gonna hit pause because I started to like fix myself a little bit there because I was like, oh, because I was still adjusting. I said, oh, they're not doing a normal slate, and I'm looking, and I got this energy, um, going because it was ice cold. I didn't get the sides at all. The sides are the lines, by the way, for people who don't know. It's a scene from the script. So I didn't get the scene. I had like literally 5 minutes, and they gave me all these pages, and I don't even think it was 5 minutes because there was a time where I was out there. They were so busy. They never gave it to me. So I kind of forget it was a while ago now. But here I'm like, okay, we're doing that. And then I turn around. They go right into it. And when they go into it, instead of it being a line, he starts describing the scene. So some curveballs happen, but I adapt real quick and I adjust, thank God. And so it's at play.
No, I don't want to take them anymore. They aren't working. Look, they're still under my skin. Look. Jonathan rolls his eyes and throws his hands up in the air and
All
puts
right.
them on his waist and
So
turns away and
this
walks
is
in
great.
a
I'll
few
rewind it
steps.
to you because I know some of you don't. I know some of you don't like it when it's broken up, but here I was like, I adjusted. I'm so lucky I reacted so quickly because I didn't know they were going to read the interior, the exterior, and like the scene descriptions. So for those who don't know, when you see a script, you watch the movie but you don't know, but like when you have a script, there'll be the lines for the character, and then there might be this other information in between, which will kind of describe the scene, and it'll give sense to what's happening for whoever's reading the script, actors, producers, whatever. So I didn't know they were going to read that too. So fortunately, I adapted real quick, and as you could see, I throw my hands up with it, picking up on what they're doing. So I'm just blessed and grateful that I had the ability to adapt to that because I was like, oh, because Jonathan throws his hands up. But I was like, okay, so they're going to read all this stuff in between too. So, didn't know that was going to happen. So it was a good adjustment. So let's take it back.
Jonathan rolls his eyes and throws his hands up in the air and puts them on his waist and turns away and walks in a few steps away from
All
Maggie
right,
and
we're doing
sighs.
that.
He walks back to Maggie and gets up close to
He's
her
going to read
face.
the whole thing. All right.
Honey, look, I know it's not you. It's the diagnosis. Okay, look, please, you just have to listen to me. Right?
Jonathan grabs Maggie by both her arms and looks desperately in the eyes. Maggie tries to shake him off and looks away.
Maggie, please, just look at me, okay? Look at me.
Maggie barely looks at Jonathan.
Look, they're not there. They're just fibers.
Maggie turns her head back to Jonathan in
So
anger and disbelief.
I'm going to hit pause again. So I'm going to let you know how challenging this was. This is really challenging because I know I had a few minutes to memorize as much as I could. So maybe less than 5 minutes. But what was interesting was I didn't know. I already knew, okay, they're reading the stuff in between on what, gives the character description and what they're doing. But what was interesting was some of these times these lines were together and I thought he would just let me read them, well, not read them, say my lines, but he kept reading every little thing. And I was kind of thinking somewhere in the back of my mind, I said, okay, let me just adapt to this because I'm like, I want to say these lines together rather than me save a line, then they interrupt and read it, which is perfectly fine. They're students, they're learning, and you learn till you die, but they're at the very foundation of it. But I was like, some actors, they would get very frustrated. Fortunately, I've been acting for some time, and really working really hard to where I prepared to deal with this, because for a lot of people it can be a real curveball because it's like, dude, you don't have to read every little thing, especially in this situation, because I kind of want to get these lines out together in one piece, to show you what I could do with it. And there they obviously they didn't let me do that because they had the best intentions. They thought they were helping me, but I'm sure now they would not do that because they're much more experienced if they're still in the filmmaking. But I just wanted to give you a little breakdown on that, on how difficult it could be if you're not prepared, or if you're not acting for some time to where you could adapt to that situation. But it can be annoying if you let it be annoying. So take it back a few seconds and let's get through that now.
Arms and looks desperately in the eyes. Maggie tries to shake him off and looks away.
Maggie, please, just look at me, okay? Look at me.
Maggie barely looks at Jonathan.
Look, they're not there. They're just fibers.
Maggie turns her head back to Jonathan in anger and disbelief.
The diagnosis?
Maggie pulls her arm back from him.
You always think it's a fucking diagnosis. You call this a damn fiber?
Jonathan rolls his eyes in hopelessness and turns away from her. The kitchen door opens and closes, and Maggie turns to look at the door and gasps.
Jonathan, look. It's in Sarah's skin too. I told you they were real. Look, oh my god, they're getting with her. No, not my baby, no. What's under my skin? What's happening to me, mommy?
No, nothing, sweetie. You're perfectly fine. Look, it's just a mosquito bite, okay? You get a little bump in your arm and you get itchy, all right? Look, nothing is under your skin, honey. You're going to be perfectly fine.
Then why did mommy say that?
Well, mommy's sick, and well, she isn't feeling very well. It's just really important that mommy takes her medicine so she doesn't get any sicker. Okay?
Sarah nods her head and Jonathan pulls Sarah in for a hug.
All right, now let's go get something for that itch.
Thank you.
Listen.
All right, so now we got from the audition. Now that you'll see to when we went to film it. Also, I hope you enjoyed that. I actually, after watching myself so many times, I could finally remove myself from it and enjoy some of my work that I could am honored to be proud of and honored to share with you guys. Um, Another thing I want to say about that is, man, the lighting obviously is not good, but they had enough to see and they could definitely hear real well. But it's a shame because, like, at the one part where I kind of teared up and it really just came natural to me when well, I'm not going to rewind back to it, but I remember I teared up, but the lighting was so bright that it shined me right out and made me look like I had a head full of white hair and had me looking like the indestructible man. But like, yeah, the lighting's so bad you can't really see that. But what was great is you could hear it in my voice and you could see, okay, I could when they picked me and they told me obviously when I got the part, but what they were saying was, I had this scene for 5 minutes, and I got all that down and adjusted to all those difficult circumstances, you know, um, everything that I was explaining to you, and that's how tough auditions can be, and I love them. I love them because they're that challenging, and I think a lot of actors. Um, I'm going to say this real quick, is they have this misconceived uh, opinion. This it's a shame because it's an ignorant um, an ignorant subjectivity to what the audition is. That it could it could not be as artistic or as creative. When I am of the opposite opinion, where I feel the actor has the greatest opportunity to show all their creative prowess. Like, because as you can see, when the reader's there in all auditions, student, major film, whatever, the reader will never act out the lines. Very rarely do they do that. Most of the time, they're going to be exactly what the name of their job is, and that's reader. Exactly what the title is. They just read you the lines because it's a challenge to the actor auditioning to see what you can do when you don't have another actor's talent and their energy to react off of. So, what will you do when somebody's just reading you lines in a dull, straightforward format? That's intentional when they read like that. They are not trying to act at all. Even if they are good actors who are just getting paid to be readers, they won't act. Because that's their job. Because the casting director and the director, they want to see what the actor can do. So it is such a challenge for your imagination. And to be in that room, as you could see, without the scene, without the wardrobe, without the other talented actor you'll be on set with, there's how they designed the scene and whatever the location is. You don't have any of that there, so your imagination has to create all that and manifest it, and really manifest what the actress that I was going to be in the scene with would say, and I had to go off of that, and every actor does. And to me, that's why auditions are so fun, because if you could crush it at the audition, imagine what you're going to do when you're on set, with the other brilliant actor that they're going to put you with. And even if like the other actor doesn't come with it, or it's not a brilliant actor or whatever, like, you're actually going to have somebody trying. You know what I mean? So it's like you're going to get an energy to work with and a dancing partner. So, and in this situation, the other actress was good. She was a good actress, and we had some good chemistry together. Um, and all our takes were really good, and we had some fun together. And you're going to see right now. So I'm going to go into. I just want to say that about the audition. The audition is like, man, you got so much room to be creative there, man. It's like it really is a blast. I love it. Of course, it's much more fun to shoot the film, but auditions are really fun. So all right, so now we're gonna get into the scene, and you're gonna see what happens when we get there, and you have time to rehearse and memorize your lines and get it down. So here we go.
Listen, I know it's not you. You have to listen to me, Meg. Listen. No. Listen, I know it's not you. It's the diagnosis. But please look at me. Would you please look at me, Maggie? Listen, there's nothing in your skin. Listen, they're just scabs, and you keep picking at them. They're getting worse.
You think that this is something I just made up? But I know what I see. Tell me that. Go get her! I heard you!
Hey, sweetie. Hey, everything's fine. There's nothing on your arm. It's just a mosquito bite, okay? It's a little bump, and it gets a little itchy, okay? There's nothing under your skin, all right? Mommy's just feeling sick, okay? She's not feeling well. And if Mommy don't take her medicine, she's going to feel even sicker, okay? Now, why don't we go get something for that itch, all right? Okay?
So now, as you can see, well, before closing into something else, but as you can see, when it all comes together, how beautiful it was, and how me and my wife in that scene had really good chemistry with each other. And she did a brilliant job. She cried, and we had to do a few takes of that because obviously, when you're working with students, they're still learning the directing and the cinematography, and they did a real good job because like they've only made like a couple of films, and like yeah, maybe. I don't know how many films they did, but this was like their best thing yet, and they did a good job. And what was I going to say? I'm trying to find the moment that I want to get to, but yeah. So now I remember, like as you can see, the lighting wasn't good here. It's the audition, but I remember like I was really proud of myself because how I teared up, but obviously didn't catch it there. But here in this, we did a lot of takes, and I remember I teared up in the moments that I thought was justified. Where you not cry too much because I didn't want to steal from her energy. I wanted to collaborate with her, and we have to. It's give and take, so you can't be selfish. And I didn't want to take the attention off of her where it deserved to be with her. So I remember like I teared up just enough to where like I got the eyes watery and I got a tear or two, whatever. But it had to be balanced. So I was making those decisions, and we did it. We did so many. I forget how many takes we did of this because they had to keep doing it because they're learning. And half of the takes I got the couple of tears I was going for, and the other half I didn't because it's very challenging to do it 10, 15 times in a row. But it's kind of funny because when it edited together, and this is something else that you need to know is that you know sometimes there might have been takes they wanted to use where that happened, but it didn't work editing wise because maybe something happened with the sound or something happened with the cinematography, or maybe they said, you know what, when he tears up, it doesn't work. The better take is when he doesn't, and he just gives that emotional response, that emotional reaction to her, and how he's trying to deal with it. Because maybe he doesn't want to tear up and cry about it because he's teared up before. So that's a great thing about a number of takes where you get to see in editing where like he's probably cried before and right now he's sad by it, and he's just trying to figure out how to manage it because it's been an ongoing issue for however long they've been married now. So I think they picked the best take, and I think it worked when they didn't use me having the couple of crying tears, whatever, and it worked brilliantly. And we had every take we did because I even remember I think talking to them. Every take we did was really good. Me and this actress, we just had great chemistry. Hopefully, if she's still acting and things work out, and it'd be great to work with her again because however good she was then and however good I was then, we're even more improved now. And if she's still doing it, I can only see her improving and getting better. So it was really fun. The lighting's not great, of course. I know people out there, they could be very critical. Sometimes they watch something, but remember, this student film was shot with probably $20. So they're using the equipment for free from school, and I think they did an excellent job. If you ever look the film up, more Gellens on YouTube, they did real good with what they had. I mean, they shot it with probably like $20. I think they paid for my Lyft ride home, so maybe it was more than $20. But they got people donuts, coffee, but we don't care about that because as actors and artists, you know, We just want to make art. That's what we do. That's so critical for us. That's our meaning in life. So some people, they whatever, you do what you do. Some people love to work on cars. Some people love to make movies. So now I want to go to the scene with the little girl. And for anybody that's still watching, I'm happy that you're even watching my videos that I make. And now that I'm breaking down something myself, because I love to share my art with people, and I'm honored to share good performances of mine, and I'm just honored to connect with other people out there. And I'm honored if you're honored. So now I want to get to the little girl. This was like, I love this scene, man. Uh, Now, let me tell you something. This little girl, she never acted before. So obviously, when you're doing a student film, you can't really hold an audition for a bunch of child actors. You can't afford that, and you can't afford to pay them. And, so she worked for free. It was like a friend of a friend, her daughter. Obviously, she's a young girl. She was probably like, yeah, maybe try acting out. It's cool. Maybe she's still acting. I don't know. Maybe she never wanted to act again. I don't know. But she had a real vulnerability to her. And if she continues to stay with the art and it's something that she wants to do with herself, um, yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd like to see what she's doing in the future when she's a teenager and grown up. Who knows? But she was a sweet little girl. But she became ultimately shy when she got to set. And I remember, like, when anybody tried to talk to her, she really locked up. And you could tell, like, it's tough, man. It's so tough. I mean, she was so brave. I give her nothing but like applause, man, because like to just stay there and not want to cry and go home. Because, like, when you're a kid, think about when you go to, like, you might go to Six Flags, or you go down the shore and you're like, I'm going to get on that roller coaster that goes upside down. And you get there, you get in line, and you get to the front, and you're like, hell no. I am not going on that thing. I did not know it was that high. So you know how it is when you're a kid and you get scared, and maybe one day you come back to it because you really do want to get on that roller coaster. And that might happen with this little girl, because when she was there, she probably was like, oh my God. And we did our best. And the actress that played my wife, she did open up to her a little bit, and she felt comfortable around her, but everybody else, she didn't. And I remember when I tried to be as nice as I could to her, and her mom was such a sweet lady. And I did my best. I talked to her mom. I said, how can I talk to her? What should I do? Should I not talk to her? Would that make it worse? So I think she maybe said two words to me the whole time. Because at first I was like, I went over to mom and said, hey, am I like scary or something, And she was like, no, don't feel bad. She's like that with a lot of people, she goes, but also, like, she's just so scared right now, that she's so shy right now. And she goes, it has nothing to do with you. She's been like this all day. I said, okay, cool. I said, I probably only have a few takes to get this done. And I think we only did like 3 takes of this, because at this point she was being a trooper, man, because she just wanted to leave. So this energy was real. So it worked for the scene. Um, and I felt real good about what I did, because I was like, you have other ideas when you come to set, but you always have to be prepared to throw everything away. Whatever your game plan is, your backup game plan, be prepared to throw it away, because it's just like, if you see something at the line, you got to go Peyton Manning and call an audible and just be ready. Like, whoa, I didn't even have this on my wrist, but I see an opening right there, and I got to take this. I didn't even know I was going to use this play. I didn't even know I had this play. So I just adapted to it, and I felt it came out real good. And like I said, God bless the little girl, man. She for not running and wanting to go home, because we didn't have another actor, and I think the project was due, so they had to get it done that day. But we'll watch it one more time, and now you have an idea how that little girl was feeling. So I think she used that energy, I used that energy, and we just know, okay, we only got like 2 more takes, so let's do it.
Hey, sweetie. Hey, everything's fine. There's nothing on your arm. It's just a mosquito bite, okay? It's a little bump, and it gets a little itchy, okay? There's nothing under your skin, all right? Mommy's just feeling sick, okay? She's not feeling well. And if Mommy don't take her medicine, she's going to feel even sicker, okay? Now, why don't we go get something for that itch, all right? Okay?
All right, so let me hit